Did he work in the office at
Yes, at American College, PBX. Excuse me, PBX and cashier. We kind of helped one another, whoever needed help. It was like a family.
So you said he worked at American Con here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said that there wasn't a whole lot to do in town, but you did have a movie theater.
We did. We had a movie theater. We had dances. They had a couple of places you could go to dance, and not a whole lot of anything.
Did you ever go to other towns then? You said Crowley.
Oh, yes. We'd go to the movies in Crowley. We'd go to the movies in Lafayette, and Harry Gregg had a wonderful band in Lafayette, and we used to go there.
And what kind of dancing was it? Just whatever was...
Well, what was popular in the 50s and 60s, you know, big band era.
Cool.
He had a big band, and it was really wonderful.
I love that kind of music. It's great.
And
so when did you come back to Rain?
actually, I'm not living here.
Okay.
I live in Lake Charles, but we moved to Lake Charles in 81, I think. Theo retired, and he always did like Lake Charles, so we moved there, and I've been there ever since.
Okay.
And so when Martha called my friend Willietta and asked her to get in touch with me to come down, I said, there's a lot of people in Rain worked at Mervyn Collins, they don't need me. No, they want you to come down. And she said, everybody's asking if you're coming. So I said, okay, well, so I'm here.
I'm sure in 23 years you have a lot of stories to tell.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right.
And we all worked at different periods, so.
Yeah, that'll be a nice broad picture. Do you remember what struck you most when you came back for visits about what changed here in Rain over the last
After I got
years?
married to Theo? Not a whole lot, to tell you the truth, but they did have a few other stores. And the fact that Mervyn Corn had closed, you had to go shop elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it really, in its heyday, was the best store. They sold everything from between Houston and Lafayette, or New Orleans, you could say. This was the store to shop. They sold everything from caskets to buggies and, I mean, just everything. We had grocery, we had all kind of things at the warehouse. We had domestic goods, drapery, ladies' dresses, a shoe department, baby department, men's department, hardware, houseware.
Did they ever have any kind of automotive section as cars became more popular?
No.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
So it was pretty much in all the time, anytime you need something, that would be the place to go, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
So,
you could get anything and everything.
But it wasn't just special occasions, it was every day.
Well, people were, it was a popular spot, and you always had a lot of people shopping. And Mr. Leo Kahn was a prince of a guy. He was just the nicest man to work for. And he always let you know he appreciated whatever. If he asked you to do something extra or special, he always would let you know about it in an appreciative way, or he'd treat you, you know. And it was a busy place, honey. Busy, busy, busy. And in the office we had, everything was done in triplicates. Customer had a copy, we had a copy, and then they had a duplicate that we had to match with the original to be sure we balanced out. So there a lot of paperwork.
Yeah. And that was all on like carbon paper and everything?
Oh yes, darling, all that good stuff, manual typewriters, and when they finally got posting machines that was so high that the girls almost had to have a high stool to, and they had those old kind of like an organ. You almost had to move them
Oh,
with
wow.
you, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a vacuum system.
We went inside the other day into all those pipes. Is that what that
Yes,
was?
that's what that was, vacuum system. They made a sales ticket and put the money in it and sent it up to us, and we'd send them back that change, put it in, the clerks had a number, and put it in their pigeonhole number, and they got commission on whatever they sold, you see. And then as the day went along and we would collect a good bit of money, then sometimes we had to make a run to the bank before it was time to go deposit, because they didn't like to keep a whole lot of money there.
Right.
And we had 3 lines on our PBX board, and that was years ago, and then they added a Watts line. So we were in high cotton, honey.
Plenty of stuff going on. Where was the bank? Was it in the downtown area?
Oh yes, the bank was in the downtown area. All you did was walk about a couple of, maybe 2.5 blocks, and the bank would be there. It was in an old building, and we used to walk, never think a thing about, you know, bringing the deposit. Never thought you'd be robbed or anything. But later on, we would take a company car and go bring the deposit to the bank.
Did you always go in pairs or just by yourself sometimes?
Oh, usually you went by yourself.
Was there a technology department? Did you sell televisions or radios?
Not that I can remember. It wasn't out yet.
Right.
I guess. No, we had no technology, no. I don't even think they sold cameras, because you had to go across the street to the drugstore if you wanted a camera. You know.
So, do you remember when the first television came to town? Or?
Yes, I remember my father got one, and let's see, the Gary Moore show was on, and I'm trying to think what else. They had a variety show that would come on once a week, and I don't remember what else, but anyhow, he was like an old hen that gathered all his kids. We could all go and watch television on that particular night, or whatever that program was that we liked so much, you know. And
how old were you?
Oh, I was married, honey.
Okay.
I was married first time. Oh yeah, and then and I remember when we got our first air conditioner. I can't tell you the year, but it was a long time. I can remember using those church cardboard fans, honey.
Yeah, that was definitely something I had to get used to, coming from the Northwest all the way down here. Very different climate.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Did you listen to radio growing up?
Oh yes, radio, and we used to listen to, I did, and I'm sure several others, The Guiding Light on radio at 7 o'clock every night, honey.
So was it a serial?
Oh yes, and it was on television for years. I think it may still be on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
One of those ongoing stories.
Oh yeah, ongoing story, absolutely.
In your opinion, what was one of the biggest events that happened in this area or in Lake Charles or Lafayette in the last 100 years?
Well, the Rice Festival, when they had it every October in Crowley, everybody went, and I don't remember Brain having anything that, you know, because I remember going there, and most of the time we just went to Lafayette or whatever, and or football, you know.
Yeah.
We always went to the football games, and they had a baseball team in Crowley. After Tom and I got married, we used to go over there and see the ball games. I love baseball. That's your recreation.
Yeah. In terms of like, well, when was the highway put in? Do you remember when that became the way people got around, was the interstate? Or was that after you left?
I imagine it may have been after. I left in 71.
Mm-hmm.
I left Mervyn Corn in 71. And they may have had a part of it, maybe, but it took them forever to get through, you know,
Right.
what have you. And but I can tell you, when they built the first rest area in Jennings, everybody take a ride out there to see it, you know.
Yeah.
And the interstate that part of it was complete by then, you know.
You mentioned you were called in for an interview. Who did you interview with?
Mr. Kahn, Mr. Leo Kahn. Nice man, principal guy.
Was it, did he have his wife or his family help him run it, or was it just pretty much him?
His mother, his mother lived upstairs, but she didn't, but his wife did the newspaper, what do you call that, the designs, what to advertise, and Miss Selma, she did. But no, he kind of ran it himself, the store. And he'd walk around, stately looking man, and if you were not busy, he'd find you a dust cloth. He saw to it that you got busy. And it was more like a big family, honey. And I never not one time thought that I would go there to work, you know, when you're growing up. And but anyhow, wind up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, you would say that was pretty much your major occupation?
That was the only job I ever had. Yeah, only job I ever had. And I had two brothers that worked there, well, three of them. I had one worked in the grocery store after he came out of the service, but he didn't stay there very long. He went on to Lafayette and had a better job. But my oldest brother and my bachelor brother worked there and became buyers, men's buyers. And then my oldest brother moved to Lake Charles and was a buyer there at Muller's, which was a nice big department store. And then my brother, Wilbert, that had been working there, I think he left in 71 himself, you know, and went into other things. But it was a nice place to work. It was camaraderie. We had we'd have a Christmas party. We'd take inventory together, everybody, and we always had a little bonus for Christmas. And they would invite us to go to their house when they had a Jewish. We was invited one year to the Seder meal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And but a lot of times, whenever anything happened, and I can't remember what happened, but something, and they closed the store, and we all went to the Catholic Church to pray for something, and I can't offhand. And Yvonne was telling me when I said that in the when we was meeting together, she said may have been when they signed the peace treaty. I don't remember. But anyhow, we did that.